Welcome back to another video. Today's video, we're going to be predicting every NFL team's record. Every NFL team, what they're going to do in the playoffs. The first team is the Packers versus the Eagles. That's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be close. It might be a 7-2 seed, so some people might think the Eagles are going to win it easily. But the Packers and Eagles played earlier in the season, and the Packers barely lost to the Eagles because of a fumble. I think this is going to be a lot different than that. I think that the Packers are going to go in there and beat Philadelphia. I know, crazy. But Jalen Hurts is coming off of a bad injury. He missed a few weeks. He's a little rusty. But J-Lo did get injured. But J-Lo, I think, is a better quarterback in general. And he got a little banged up. He got hit a little bit. He was walking. He looks fine. They just didn't want to put him back in a game because it was effectively meaningless. Because either way, you go to play the Eagles if you want to go to the Super Bowl. So I think the Packers win. Now, Washington versus the Bucks. This is gonna be a good game. I think that Washington's gonna win though because Washington played them week 1 and they lost. I get that, but Washington, Jaden Daniels developed a lot since then, and the Buccaneers have got hit with injuries. They're a worse team since week 1. Washington's a better team since week 1. Washington wins. Now we got a 7 seed winning, a 6 seed winning now, 5 versus 4. What do you think? The 5 seed's gonna win again. All the lower seeds win. I don't know if that's ever happened before with this new 7-team playoff. It's probably happened with the 6 and 5 seed probably won. I don't know if it all three won before. Either way, and this it is. The Rams, they're a great team. The Vikings are a great team. This is very close. Closer than people might think. But I think the Vikings win. They played the Rams earlier in the season and lost by 10 points, but it was very close into the end. And I think the Vikings got better since then. They learned from that experience. That was their first loss. Sam Darnold is much more playoff ready, and they win. And the Vikings come to the divisional round, and they have an easier game than the Lions. Washington's a great team. I think that the worst team in the playoffs, excluding the Bucks. I think they're worse. I think they're a better team than the Bucks, but that's it. So I think they're the second worst team in the playoffs. So I think Vikings was Washington. I think Vikings win, but it's still close because Sam Darnold is the worst QB effectively in the NFC side of the playoffs by far. He's still good though, and I think he's good enough to beat Washington and Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. The Commanders' defense is terrible. They're young. Jaden Daniels is still young. I think he'll be fine in the playoffs. He's 24 years old. He's still pretty old for a rookie, and I think he's ready to play in the playoffs. I don't think he's going to be that nervous, but he might not be fully ready. So I think the Vikings win. They're a better team. Their defense is going to cause problems for Jaden Daniels and Washington. This might be the best defense they faced all year. Now, Packers vs. Lions. Detroit vs. Packers. Jared Goff played the Packers twice. They won twice. I think they'll win 3 times. The Lions win. The Lions are a better team than the Packers through and through. The Lions, Jared Goff is is playing like one of the best QBs in the NFL right now. He's not one of the best, but he might be the best quarterback in the NFC. That's arguable. I don't think he's one of the best quarterbacks. He doesn't have the it factor. But with that offense, he has Amon-Ra St. Brown. He has Jahmyr Gibbs. They'll run the ball over the Packers. The Packers' run defense is a lot better than it was last season, but it's still not great. So I think the Lions beat the Packers and J-Lo at home. See, if it was on the road, maybe did, but that's not. And the Packers' miracle run so far has been great. They won one game, but it was against the 2-seeded Eagles because Jalen Hurts is a little banged up. But I think it ends here when Jared Goff and company beats the Packers. Now, the NFC Championship game, we just seen this Week 18. And I thought it was going to be a closer game since it wasn't, since Sam Darnold had problems against uh, Glenn's defense. And like I said, he's the worst QB in the NFC playoff race, I think. Him and Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, and Jalen Hurts are all competing for that. Lions win. The Lions beat the Vikings, go to the Super Bowl for the first time in their franchise history, I'm pretty sure. The Lions are a great team. The Vikings are a great team, but we've seen Sam Darnold had trouble with Aaron Glenn's defense and Ben Johnson. can scheme up a game plan against that great Brian Flores' defense to give them the win. I think it'd be a close game. I think it'd be low scoring. The Lions are going to run the ball because I think Brian Flores is going to come with a better game plan than he did the first time. It's going to be like 20-15. Just Sam Darnold has a chance to make a play at the end, and he doesn't, and they lose the game. So now we have the AFC. Bills vs Broncos. The Bills are winning that game. There's not much to talk about. The Broncos offense is not very good. They destroyed the Chiefs backups defense, and they've had some great moments this season against the Falcons. But these teams have bad defense. The Bills also don't have a great defense, but it's not terrible. It's good enough to beat the Broncos. So I think the Bills beat the Broncos pretty handedly. Not much to say about that game. Ravens vs Steelers. This game I have a lot to say about. I think the Ravens still win though. I could see the war where the Steelers win. If the Steelers win, clap my hands. No one should have ever said that Mike Tomlin should have been fired. I thought that was ridiculous last season. Definitely not. The Steelers don't have the talent on offense to compete with Lamar Jackson. I know the Steelers have a history of beating the Ravens, but they also have a history of not going far in the playoffs because in the playoffs, your offense and defense show you can't have just a good they have a great defense. It can overcome an average offense. This offense has not played average as of late. George Pickens coming back from injuries should help Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson is the worst quarterback by far in the whole playoffs. Even worse than Bo Nix right now. But he's still fine. But if the Steelers can't get their run game going, which the Ravens have much better defense as of late, and their run defense has been good all season. So I think the Ravens beat the Steelers and advance to the second round. It'll be a disappointment if Lamar doesn't beat the Steelers in the first round, and then we have to really talk about can he win a Super Bowl. But I don't think that happens, and I think he beats the Steelers. Chargers vs Texans. I think the Chargers win. The Texans are a great team. I could see CJ Stroud making a few plays to win, but this Texans offensive line is going to have a field day against the Chargers defense in that pass rush. I don't think CJ Stroud is going to be able to breathe. He's going to get sacked over and over and over again. This is going to be like when Joe Burrow made the playoffs. I think his second season went to the Super Bowl, but this time CJ Stroud doesn't have T. Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase. He has Tank Dell and Nico Collins. Nico Collins is great. Tank Dell's a great number 3. If they had Diggs, I think the Texans would win. But they're too banged up. The Texans defense is great, but it's going to come down to whose offensive line can block better in the run game and the pass game, and I think the Chargers offensive line can. Because these QBs are very closely matched. I think Justin Herbert's still better, but CJ Stroud has more of that pocket. Like he's more consistent. But I think Chargers win, and Justin Herbert wins a playoff game, which has been a knock on him his whole career. Now in the second round, Chargers play the Chiefs. This is gonna be a close game. The Chiefs would rather play 3 other teams than the Chargers. They'd rather play the Broncos, the Steelers, and the Texans, and they're definitely gonna be playing one of those 4 teams: Chargers, Steelers, Broncos, Texans. For sure, one of those 4 teams in real life, no matter what happens, they're going to be playing one of those teams. But I think the Chargers, the worst of the matchups they're going to play. The Chargers are going to play them very hard and very close. The Chargers might be the third best team in the wild card. That's why I'm winning. But they're going to run the ball. It's going to be a close game. But I think Mahomes is a lot better than Herbert, and Mahomes has a lot better weapons than Herbert does. So I think it's going to come down to who makes more explosive plays. And Xavier Worthy down the sideline for a long touchdown to win the game. So I think Chiefs win. Bills vs Ravens. Electric. Either team can win. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens won. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills won. I think the Bills will win. The Ravens won 35-10 at the beginning of the season. Both teams are a lot different. The Ravens defense isn't as good as they played that game. Josh Allen is on a run right now. He's going to run the ball. He's going to pass the ball. Like Lamar. Lamar's going to run the ball and pass the ball. I think Josh Allen's better than Lamar, so I think that they're going to overcome the weaknesses of the Bills, Josh Allen, which is the defense isn't as good as the Ravens defense. Simply put, But I think the Bills are going to outscore the Ravens. When Josh Allen gets into shootouts, he scores points. I know they lost 44-42 in one shootout against the Rams, but they beat the Lions in a shootout. So I think there's going to become a shootout, and I think Lamar Jackson, he just isn't as good of a passer as Josh Allen is at all. Josh Allen's big, physical. The Bills are home. That's big. If the Ravens were home, it'd be a different story. It's going to be snowing. You're going to have that arm strength and physicality, but I don't think the Ravens have that. This is in January in Buffalo. It's going to be snowing, and I think the Bills win because of that. Chiefs, Bills. Maybe the whoever wins this might win the Super Bowl. This is the biggest matchup of the year. This would be a crazy game, and I hope this happens because I'd be so excited to watch this game. And I think the Chiefs win. I know, boring. They won last year and the year before, but Mahomes is going for the three-peat. It would be if he could win this Super Bowl, it would be the fourth Super Bowl of his career, his very young career. He would have the most Super Bowls at this age than any other player in NFL history. Before he started, he would have 4 Super Bowls. But let's talk about Michael. This game right here, the Bills Chiefs. The Bills have a lot on stake. Josh Allen and Lamar both want to beat Mahomes in the championship to get to the Super Bowl. Last year, Lamar Jackson got there, and it was huge. Couldn't he succumbed to the pressure and lost. So Josh Allen and him played. Josh Allen gets the opportunity to beat the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl. I think Josh Allen comes up short. He has a turnover. Something happens. The Chiefs are home, which means a lot. They have rest. They get to play a Chargers team who I think they will play competitive against. But I think the Chiefs won't have as sort of a time as the Bills will against the Ravens. I think the Chiefs will be fine, rested. Isaiah Pacheco, it might be cool. Isaiah Pacheco's going to get the ball a lot. They're going to hand the ball for a lot to Isaiah. And Isaiah Pacheco's going to get them yards. They have the Chiefs have Isaiah Pacheco, who's a running back, who I think they're going to ground and pound with, and Mahomes is going to make a play to win the game. And Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's going to find a way to beat the Bills. I can see the Bills winning though, but I think Mahomes wins. The 2-1 seeds meet in the Super Bowl. Surprise, surprise. The Lions get there, and the Lions they need this. The Lions last year lost to the Niners because of a dumb decision that Dan Campbell made on 4th and 2. He just made so many dumb decisions that game at the end of it to lose. They were up 24-10. It was unbelievable. No one thought the Lions would get that far, and they did. So I so the Lions have something to prove. They want to win this game. Dan Campbell, before the Super Bowl, if they make it, mark my words, will say, we may not get this opportunity again. We have to capitalize. The Lions will be ready and so ready to play this game. The Lions will be on their A game, but the Mahomes wants it more. They were going for the three-peat. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. This is can a quarterback who isn't the best, a quarterback be the best quarterback in the league because he has more talent on his team, and I don't think he'll win. This isn't. I think the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, and they're the winner because I don't think this is Eli Manning versus Tom Brady. The Lions don't have the defense that Eli Manning had in 2007 to come and beat the Patriots with Randy Moss. But the Chiefs have the enough weapons and offensive power to beat the Lions. So I think the Chiefs win the Super Bowl and Mahomes becomes victorious and becomes the first quarterback in NFL history to win and have a three-peat. Thank you for watching. That's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and share, and comment if you agree with the Super Bowl winners. You guys probably wouldn't like that. I think the Chiefs are going to win, but that's just my honest opinion. Thank you for watching, and talk to you next video. I'll be doing a mock draft and power rankings for the end of the season. Goodbye.